Hey, what's up guys, Jackson here at Toasty DIY, and today you're going to be coming along on a little journey of building a pretty budget racing simulator. Let's go ahead and talk about the parts and then go ahead and get to building. Alright, so before I show just a little bit of time-lapse footage of me actually building this racing sim, I'm just going to kind of tell you guys where I'm at so far with it. So I have actually not gotten to plug it in yet, but I got it to a pretty happy point. So this is all based on the Vivo Racing Simulator Cockpit, which comes with the chair, the full frame, and it comes with the monitor stand that connects directly to it. So it's going to come in two boxes, so don't be surprised if they come in like separate orders, but you're going to get the chair and the whole stand in one box, and then the little monitor frame in another box. This frame can really hold any size monitor in all honesty. I've kind of custom fitted a speaker underneath it, which I'll talk about in a minute, but right now I have a 32-inch curved KTC 240Hz 1080p monitor. The only reason I'm doing 1080p is because it's going on a pretty low-end PC. It's going on our mineral oil PC up front, so we don't really have a whole lot of headroom when it comes to 1440p or 4K on that system. Now you can pick up this Racing Simulator Cockpit for pretty cheap. It actually goes anywhere from $250 to $350, and that comes with everything you see here, minus any of the electronics and cabling. That's really not a bad price for such a nice chair. It actually has multiple points of adjustment. You can adjust the back. It actually has sliding, so you can go forwards and backwards in case your legs are longer or shorter. Yeah, it's a really nice stand. I also like too that it's not right on the ground. The other racing sim we had was literally on the ground, was not super comfortable, and it was not easy to get in and out of. But this one having some pretty realistic bolstering is really cool. It actually is pretty realistic to like a real race car seat. Now to go over some of the electronics, really the driving force of this is a Logitech G923. So this is an upgraded version over what we had for our last racing sim. Comes in around $200 to $300 depending on where you get it, what time you get it, but it's a really nice wheel. It actually comes with paddle shifters, and you can get the kind of selective manual, which when I say selective, I just mean it costs extra. It's about $50 to $60 extra. So I did pay extra for it, but it's totally worth it. This can transform, your racing sim rather than just having like a sequential shifting or dual paddle shifters. You get a full true H pattern where you actually get to use the clutch pedal, which for me is essential. I definitely like to be able to play my racing games in full manual just because, I want the full experience if I can get it. Now the pedals also come with the wheel, so pedals and wheels are included for around $200-300. The shifters an extra, like I said, $50 to $60. I think the monitor was about a $160 monitor, and then kind of the icing on top that I'm pretty excited about this time is I mounted this Sound Blaster Katana. So this is from Creative, and as you can see, we got a sound bar, and you're like, okay, sound bar, it'll probably be pretty decent audio, but we got the next level here. We got the big subwoofer mounted underneath the seat. So you actually have a decent amount of room under here where I guess you could add like rumble pads and whatnot, like if you want an even more realistic experience, but I'm going pretty budget with this full setup. So I decided a big subwoofer underneath there with just moderate volume will really make the engine on the game sound and feel like you're in the car. I only know that because the last racing sim we had a really small subwoofer, and it was awesome. It really did make it feel like you could kind of feel the engine rumble. So I'm excited for this because this thing absolutely bumps. So I think it'll be really sick. Coming out of the other side, you can actually mount the shifter on either side, but obviously being in the US, we're pretty much always gonna have our shifters on the right side. So you do have the option to go left in case you have space saving needs or if you're in pretty much any other country. So that part's pretty nice. I will say you can kind of get out and in of the racing sim really any way. Like here's an idea on size wise. So like I have the seat pretty far up right now, and I'm able to get in and out just fine. Like it's a lot easier than the last one, especially since it's not directly on the ground. Subwoofer and shifter, I ran those cables just zip tied. I used like a full bag of zip ties, a lot of zip ties on this. And then on the wheel, that's where all of your cables from your pedal and your shifter are going to go. So you can see 3 cables here, or 4 because one of them's power. I'm coming down the side here, and then everything kind of meets here because we obviously have some other accessories, like we have our monitor and our DisplayPort cable, we have our audio cable as well as the power for the subwoofer and the audio. So all that comes down here kind of meets, and then I actually went ahead and just kind of crudely zip tied all of the power bricks down here So these right here are just power cables. So there's 3 power cables total, 1 for the actual wheel and pedal setup, and 1 for the subwoofer and soundbar. So 3 cables total, not too bad. Probably run a power strip to it. And then here, I kind of just bundled it up so it looked cleaner, but I ran extensions so that I didn't have to worry about the length. But we have, which I actually bought the wrong cable. I needed to just do a male to male, but I bought a male to female. So I don't feel like uncable managing, so I'm just gonna buy a cheap little extension that'll be a male to male. This will plug into the PC, that's how I'll get audio. This is all you need for the full steering and pedal and shifter setup, which is really nice. Just 1 USB 3 and then our display port for the monitor. So very simple setup in terms of cabling, which I'm really excited about. And I like how I got it all nice and neat so that if we want to move this racing sim, which we're going to, it's not going to sit here, it's going to go up front of PC Bros. It'll be super easy to move this whole assembly with just 2 people. So at this point, guys, I'm gonna show you some just quick footage of building the sim, the footage that I got. I didn't really get a ton. And then we're gonna go ahead and actually test this thing out. So we're going to go ahead and start a part of the championship campaign. And this game's really fun too because you really do have to, you can't just mash the gas pedal down, you actually have to use the brake. You got to do a lot of drifting too. I'm trying to remember what all of the call outs mean. Oh man, it feels so good when you get into the higher RPM. You can really feel the steering wheel fighting you too. Now I will say I have used some of the really expensive racing simulators at places like Micro Center where they're like $5,000. And of course, those steering wheels can borderline like break your hand. This one definitely doesn't have that much power, but it's very satisfying feeling, and it definitely can yank out of your hand, I gotta say. And then, you know, the only other thing that would be kind of cool is having like the iFinity display where we have triple monitors, but you gotta think, that's a lot more money. And I think it adds some more immersion, but not an insane amount. I honestly prefer having like a wide 32-inch monitor or going with like an ultra wide even. Like a 34-inch would be really cool. And this game is so satisfying when you get like really good shifts. Hate it. I think, oh, we got second place. All right, that was better than I thought. We had a penalty. I would have had first if I didn't mess up. But let's go ahead and talk about this. So yeah, guys, this was a really fun racing sim to build. I gotta give Vivo some major props because for under 300 bucks, getting a really nice seat with bolstering and I mean, honestly, just a really good frame. Like this thing is solid. I would trust it with kids, I trust it with, you know, larger people. It doesn't really matter. Even people who are like maybe 6'8", I think would fit just fine on this, especially with the seat adjustments and everything. Definitely adding the Katana subwoofer and soundbar, it's expensive. It adds a good amount of money. I think it's like a $300 sound system that we just kind of had on hand. You could definitely get away with going more budget, but I gotta say, I mean, if you add like the rumblers or the things like that, I mean, those are hundreds of dollars a piece for those motors, and it's just more parts that can fail, more parts that can have problems. So something as simple as sound, you're really never gonna have issues with. And that's really the thing I'm going for with this racing sim that's gonna be up front at PC Bros, is I want something that's very easy to use, doesn't have issues. If something goes bad, it's easy to replace and not super expensive. So all in for this racing sim, being under $1,000 is pretty awesome for, I think, the level of quality we got. So guys, if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you subscribe to Toasty DIY and also check out Toasty Bros and Toasty Clips, and check out PC Bros as well if you want. See you guys later. Peace out.